So we are on Ayin Gimel Amar Aleph. Lizzie had a chance to listen
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, yeah. Listen to you.
Okay,
I had Shabbos Shabbat because I was on my way back last night, but I listened to it.
great. So we're up to Tanu Rabbanon. I think that's what we're up to, about 20 lines up. Am I mixing it up?
No,
Ayin Gimel Amar Aleph?
yeah.
That's right. Okay. So this is a sort of a recap of the Mishnah, but the extension of the Mishnah had said, these are the people that you can kill who are attempting to do something. So we said you could do it to someone who is basically two categories, a Retzeach and certain type of Ervis, where the person is Mavoyish. But someone who's Roidevacha Behema, meaning he wants to be Reveya Behema, or Machal Shabbos, Kechavim, you don't save, then you can't kill the person to avoid him being over on those Averos. As we're going to see in the Gemara, this is a machlekes Tanaim. There'll be other Tanaim who will disagree and say you can kill someone. And it's almost a little surprising that to us that you shouldn't kill someone who's being Oived Avodas Kechavim. We know a person, it's one of the things that it's Yaharag Val Yava, which is going to be the next Gemara is going to talk about, then of when a person has to allow himself to be killed. So Avodas Kechavim is sort of like in a twilight. It's in a in-between zone where you can't kill someone else to prevent him, but if a person is put into position of being Oived Avodas Kechavim, like we're going to see, he has to sacrifice his life for it. So if Reuven is chasing after Shimon to kill him, Reuven is running after Shimon to be Reveim. If Reuven is chasing after Naira Hamirasa to be born her, and all Chayve Mrs. Bezdin. The Gemara later on is going to ask, once you say Chayve Mrs. Bezdin, well, the one's not going to ask it on the Bryce, we're going to ask once we learn out Chayve Mrs. Bezdin, that includes also a Naira Meirasa and a Retzeach and everything else that was mentioned before. But Echad Chayve Krisis, even someone who's being over and something that just chorus. Matzil and Oiseh Benafshe. So this Chayve Krisis and Chayve Mrs. Bezdin, I'm sorry, I misstated. It doesn't mean someone who's going to be Retzeach, who's going to kill someone, or someone who's going to be Mechal Shabbos. It only refers to Chayve Mrs. Bezdin in the context of Arayas. So this is going to be like the Mishnah, like the Gemara had explained before, that it has to do with the level of pagam, of how much the person who is the victim is embarrassed and degraded by it. So that was why there was an exception if the person said, better to, like we said in the Mishnah, better if they says better let it happen rather than kill me, or if it would already happened to them before. Those types of pagams are not sufficient to say you could save with their life. But the level of type of arayas that you could save if Reuven is attempting to be ma'anis a woman, that's only if the type of erva is an erva that's chayvi misas bezdin or krisis. But if it's just a lav, like a kohen gadol, amana to a kohen gadol, gushul chulus to kohen hedget, then you don't do it. Nev de ba'avera ein matzil benafshe. If this had already been done to the person, so they're not the pagam is already there. So the second time they do it, you cannot save the person with their life, since they already went through that degradation. They don't feel it as intensely, and therefore you're not allowed to kill the perpetrator. If there's someone if there's someone or some way to save this victim without killing the ma'anis, then again you can't kill him. You have to take the way out. You have to save it without killing him. Rabbi Yehuda says also, if she says, let him go, I don't want you to kill him, I'm as Rashi explains, she's scared that in the process of killing him, he's gonna kill her. So she says, better let him go and I'll accept the pagam. So if this is a woman who we're going to see in the Gemara is going to talk about two tzadim of how this is looked at. But Basha, the way it works is if the woman is saying that it's not such a terrible thing, I'd rather deal with it and survive than take the risk of being killed. Now, even if they know they can kill him without giving him the opportunity to kill her, they still, at that point, the heter to kill him in order to save her the pagam goes away. You have to keep in mind, right? This is distinct from the din of Yeharg Val Yavar. Even though Arayas is something that a person, if they're put into that position, that they're going to be over on a Chiyav Arayas, they have to give up their life. But this is talking about where you should go kill a second person, where a non-party should kill the perpetrator in order to save her. And that is a higher level. And that there has to be, in addition to stopping him from doing the Avera, there also has to be, you have to have a second factor that she has a pagam. So this is ameliorating to some extent the pagam if she's saying that no, go ahead and let him do it. Minoni immediately, where does this come from? Amar Kra, Ulanayra Lisasa Davar. Ein Lanayra Chet Mavis. This is by the pasuk of Naira Mirasa. It says if the Naira herself, she was Mu'onis, Naira Mirasa, she doesn't get skila. She didn't do anything. So this whole pasuk really is extra, right? Because the pasuk says, we already said earlier in the pasuk that we're talking about someone who is being done. So what do you have to say? What is that telling you? You already said she didn't do anything. So Zaktamara, so we darshan every word in that second extra part. Nar ze zachar. The Torah could have said naira. Normally naira is spelt with a hey. Over here it's spelt without the hey, but with the komets at the end. But it's spelled with the lashon of a nar, even though it's read with the lashon of a naira. So we say that the fact that it says nar, it's written as naira or nar. That refers to a mishkav zachar, which is one of the things that we listed, that we said you're allowed to kill him if he's trying to even honest someone. Naira, the naira merasa, and the word naira itself is referring to the naira merasa. Chet elu chayav krisis, and chet is to include chochata, right? In lenar chet mavis, right? The word chet is referring to if he's being honest or with any kind of chayav krisis. And Mavis, Elu Chayve Mrs. Bezin. That's telling you any Chayve Mrs. Bezin, if the man is trying to do a type of Gili Arayis that would be Mechoyev Mrs. Bezin, then you're allowed to kill him. So Kalhani Lomali. Why do you have to say all four of these? So first of all, I want to say Tzricha, Ikas Rachman and Nair Mishum Delav Orche. If I would just had the pasuk that would tell you a mishkav zachar that you're allowed to kill him, that's because that's an unnatural thing, that's unusual. Aval naira, the orcha, naira, even when we say it's a orcha, meaning it's the normal type of bia, as opposed to mishkav zachar, which is an unnatural type of bia. It's not as much of a degradation to have normal bia, emalai, because Rachman and naira mishum de kapagim la. And if I would just said naira, it's because we're talking about a psula. She's losing a psulim, so there's a permanent pigima, permanent change in her status. Maybe only that. There's a chiyah, you're allowed to kill, you're supposed to kill the person. Aval nar, but mishkav zachar d'loy kapagam le. There's no physical change, emalai. Because of Rachmat and Nahani, if the pasuk would say these two, Mishum dehayla vorchehu v'akapagam la. If we just said those two, I would say each one of them has their maila. That a mishkav zachar is lav orche, and naira merasa takes away psulim. Aval shar arayis, but any other arayis, the orche v'leinafish pigmayu, that it doesn't have these chesroinus emaloi, because Rachmana chet. So the pasuk says also chet, which we said to teach you also sheyesh bakas. Because Rachmana chet havaminafil chayve lavin. If we would have just said chet, I would have said even chayve lavin. Means it says any type of avera that has to do with arayis. I would say you could always save the woman, meaning even kain gadol alman kain gadol because Rachmana mavis. So the Torah says mavis. Because Rachmana was havamina chayve misas bezin in chayve kristus light. I would have said mavis only things that are something that's a misa b'dei adam. v'chayve krisis not. Kasar achmana chait. That's what you had to have. A chait or yeah, and that's what you also have to have mavis. So we said why you need naira, why you need mavis, and why you need chait, and why nar and naira. So the Gemara v'lifta rachmana chait mavis v'loy by naira v'naira. The Gemara says, but what about the other way around? Once you say any chayve mises bezin and any chayve karas, that certainly includes naira hameirasa and mishkav zachar. Those are both mechuyev mises bezin midaraisa. Zot Amara in Einachanami. That's like a good kasha. Be'ela naira. So we say we have to really change that the naira is not referring to mishkav zachar and to naira mirasa. Chad lemute oived avodas kechavim v'chad lemute behema v'shabbos. One is to exclude that Einachanami you're mechuyev for any mises bezdin that has to do with arayis, and you also learn out also chayve karas, but not chayve lavin. But we have to have specific psukim to tell you not to include. One might think oived avodas kechavim. There's a din you could kill someone who's about to be oived avodas kechavim, and one would also think that if someone's going to be born a behema and for chayvish, and if someone's mechal Shabbos. So the Gemara is going to explain, it's going to become evident what the reasons why we would have thought that these particular things would have been included, right? We said, first of all, so behema is really not so hard. Behema is a type of arayas. So you would thought it's included. It's an arayas that there's a chayiv misa. So one would say maybe it's included as an erva. So it's also included. Even though, obviously, there's no pagam on the behema, but maybe it's when the Torah says that any chiyav arayis that has chayve misa is included, I might think that's included. But what about Shabbos and avodas kechavim? So the Gemara is going to explain. Lo shim ben yichayde amar avodas kechavim nitn latzil benafshay lamali. According to Rav Shimon ben Yochai, he taka says avodas kechavim you can save by killing him. So why do we need the pasuk that's the naira? So we said three things, and we only have two psukim. So one would be to exclude a behema, and one would include Shabbos. And why would I include Shabbos? Because he would say, I would have thought that according to Reb Shimon ben Yochai, he has a lima to tell you, you're allowed to save his life by killing him. So Shabbos, we learn from Gzeira Shava from avodas kechavim. So that's why we need a pasuk of Naira tell you not to learn the Gzeira Shava from Shabbos to avodas kechavim. What about Reb Shimon ben Reb Shimon, meaning his the son of Reb Shimon ben Yochai, that he says even a mechal Shabbos you're allowed to kill. So now we only need a pasuk for one thing. We only need the pasuk for behema, but we're saying he goes like his father who holds that avodas kechavim is excluded, and now we're excluding also Shabbos, that both of them you can kill someone for. So the Ashi, he holds obviously he's holding like Rishon by Yechai because he's learning it out from avodas kechavim. So he's saying both of them. He disagrees with the drasha of naira. He says we were talking about naira until now. It's a little bit unclear which changes the Gemara is saying. But the point is that we had mentioned the naira beforehand, so that the fact that we're saying naira over here is not fair. You can't learn that out a second thing. So let me see. Yeah, so the Gemara is going to still say the Kal V'chaimer later on of where Rav Shimon ben Yochai learns out that avodas kechavim would be allowed to kill someone to stop him from being nichshal. So even someone who says, this is back to our Mishnah. There's a Mishnah, the Bryce, I'm sorry. The Bryce had ended off, and we said that anyone where the woman says, let it go ahead, don't kill him, and let him be born me. I don't want to take the risk. So the Rabbi Kamifli, what's the base of the machlekes? Amarava makpedes al pegimo amnichasa shelo yagenu. We're talking about where she doesn't want him to be paigamar. It's not the case that she's saying I don't care about the begima, but she's saying my life is more important to me than that. But she's saying nevertheless I don't want you to kill him. So that's what they're arguing. Rabban and Savri are pigma kapid rachmana. Vari makpedes al pigma.
You skipped Amarova. You skipped one line.
But my kamifli Amarav makpedes al pigma mechasa shlo yagena.
Oh,
They're
he wants
arguing
to
about, yeah. So they're arguing about this case where she is makbid, she doesn't want to get hurt, but she's leaving it that she still doesn't want. She doesn't want to be degraded, but even so, she's saying don't. And she's saying don't kill him because the pegima is not enough that I'm willing to risk my life for it. Rabban and Savri are pigma kapit rachmana. Rabban say the whole question is does she care about it? So she still cares about it. But Yehuda haidekam rachmana katle mishum de masr nafshalik tala. This that the Rabbanan, that which the Torah says that you're allowed to kill him, is because she is. It sounds almost like she's going to fight down to. She's going to get herself killed rather than submit. And since this woman is not going, it means it's not based on her pagam. It's based almost on like he becomes a reitzeach. He's a roidif, that he's trying to kill her. It's likely that she's a Jewish woman. She's not going to submit, and she's going to get killed instead of having it to go. And Hale Masanashal and this woman, we know that's not going to happen. Amlir Papalabaya, Aman Lekain Gadol Nami Kapagamle. He said, if that's the case, why would the Rabbanan say that if they're makbid on pagam, why would it stop by almana l'kohen gadol, where kohen gadol is being ma'anis and almana? There's also pagam, and if she's makbid on it, we should say it always applies, and it should be a din that you could kill the kohen gadol. Amalei, apig ramba kabed rachman, apig mazuto le kabed rachman, which they only makbid on a very big pagam, but not on a very small one. So it means to say that there's no woman who would let herself be killed rather than just be over on a love. Hard for us to understand this way of thinking, right? Because we think there are many women who would fight to the death. But I guess the numbers don't bear that out. Chet elu chayve krisis. We had said that chet is talking about chayve krisis. The chayve krisis, if a man is being ma'anis a woman with an erva that's chayve krisis, then you're allowed to kill him. These are the nairis that have a knas. There's a din knas if someone's bar on a naira, on a psula. Whether the truth is it's the same knas, whether it's be'oinus, against her will, or whether he's mefata or he seduces her, he has to pay 50 shkalim. But there are some cases where there's no knas. Someone who's bar on his sister. So when he was born on his sister, so now there's a chi of karas for someone who's bar on his sister. So we're saying, and the Gemara is saying now, if the fact that he's mechayev, that he's a chayve krisis, opens him up, that if someone sees him, they're allowed to kill him. So that, like we said before, which I don't remember who it was. I think it was Menachem that was giving me a hard time about it. He couldn't understand how could it be a kamle b'derabimine on someone who is just a vigilante chi of misa, right? But that's what we say. There's a kamle b'derabimine. If someone is open up, his life is forfeit because people are allowed to kill him because of what he's doing. If he also does accrues a monetary obligation at that same time for something he did, that obligation doesn't exist because we say kimlev derabnei, it's subsumed within the larger chet. So this habal achaisai, why would there be knas? l'chayra, it's not, he's someone who's Mechayev Misa. Amru Amawan Kamei Rav Chizda, they said this to Rav Chizda, and he said, Mishas hara de pogma, we're talking about when the reason why it's going to be chayiv to pay is because as soon as he's ma'ara, as soon as there's physical contact of the Eva to her makom, so at that point it's already a busha for her. So he's already mechuyev katala from the shas hara, but she's not yet mechuyev the 50 shkalim. The 50 shkalim is only when he's mitzi psulim, and that's only later on. That's not with the initial contact. That's only by the Gemar Bia we mean when he fully causes the psulim to come out. With the original contact, the psulim don't come out. So the two things are not at the same time. So therefore, you can't say kam lebdi rabmine. So this is the good according to Mandama that says hara is only the actual first contact, which is prior to the hatzas psulim. That hara doesn't refer to the first contact, but it means the same thing when it actually reaches the point of being mighty the psulim. They two should be at the same time. And if we're saying that a chayve krisis, his life is forfeit, it should be maybe the Rabbinay should pater the person who's doing it, the ma'anis, from having to pay the 50 shkalim if he doesn't al chaysay. This case of someone being mechuyev for his sister is talking about he was already born her once, shaloi kedarka. So at that time, the pagam of having this type of erva be born her already took place. And like we said before in the Brisa, a second time of the same Isser, the pagam is already there. So there's no nitin lehatzila benafsha. So there's no chiyuv of there's no basically a de facto chayve misa over here. Rava says a different teretz, but manichasa shelo. We're talking about a case where she said this brother is being born, and she said, "Don't kill him because I'm scared he's going to kill me." So again, that's another case according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda, who says that in that case you can't kill him. Papa says we're talking about a mafata. We're not talking about a ma'anis. A ma'anis and a mafata. Ma'anis is someone who forces. A mafata is someone who seduces. But a psula, both of them, there's a din of 50 shkalim. But everyone agrees that even the Cholkam on Rabbi Yehuda would say that if she's maskim that he should be born her, he's mafuta. I mean, she's being maskim. That even the people who say that where she says, "I'd rather you not kill him." In this case, she's not just saying, "I don't not kill him." She's happy to have the bia. So in that case, clearly she's not, and there's no pgima in her mind, and therefore you can't kill him. We're talking about where there's an opportunity, you can kill it, you can stop him without killing him. You could cut off one of his hands. Rabbi Yonason ben Sholi, the time of Yonason ben Sholi, someone who's chasing after a second person, you could save him without killing him just by wounding him. And you didn't take that opportunity, but rather you killed him. Neragala, he gets killed. This l'chayra. So this would apply also over here. And l'chayra, this is very similar to the case that we saw before with Yayav, right? Is that what you're looking back on?
No, looking because today we had a Gemara where if there's a way, if you don't have to kill, then you shouldn't kill.
Right, but this is not.
Is that not the same?
Yeah, but it's not such a simple way to kill, right? We did see that.
Right, and
it didn't say over there,
it wasn't Yonason ben Shol. It just seemed like everyone said that.
I think this is just inherently more risky, right? Because we had that machlokes where Yoav and Avner, and the tain on him was that you should have killed him with Echad Mevar, but he said, "Listen, how do I know? Maybe it wouldn't have worked." So I think there's an inherent risk in any kind of, like that's what the cops are all taught. You shoot to kill. You don't fool around. Right. So I think that would be the other man. The Amna would say You don't do that. If someone's if he's mechuyev misa and you could save her, you don't fool around. So like tomorrow, my time the Rabbi Yosef ben Shaul. What's the reason? The pasuk is talking about where two people are arguing. Let's look at the pasuk. Where two people are fighting, benagvu ishahara, and they hit a pregnant woman, biyatzu yoladeh, and the fetus, they cause the baby to come out. The lo yiyeh asen, and the mother doesn't get killed as well. It means that it causes a damage that the baby is lost, but the mother is not killed. Onish yonish. In that case, they have to pay. The person who hit her has to pay for the vlad because it's not a kamleib derabine. They're not getting killed for hitting her. Kasha yasol bal ha'isha v'nasan b'flin. Then he has to pay the damage he did. We're talking about someone who is who's mechuyev misa. I mean, it's not that it's mechuyev misa. When the person is trying to kill someone, right? We're talking. That's what it means. And lo yasin, meaning, but if he would have killed, then he'd be mechuyev misa. So it must be if they weren't trying to kill. If they were just punching each other in the nose and someone got killed, they wouldn't be. It's not a roidif. That's two people fighting. You don't. But we're saying that it would be mamish that if it was to be an asen that he killed someone, then he'd be mechuyev misa. Then then he has to pay. And if there is no asen, then he has to pay. So if you'll say that someone who can save with one of the var, then you can't kill him. That's how you could see that he could get punished. The problem is, why isn't he a roidif? And a roidif is nitel nahatzal benafshay, so it should pater him from paying, even he's trying to kill the other person. Right? We proved that from the fact that he would be pater if he had to pay. So why isn't he always pater? Because he's a roidif, and his nitel nahatzal benafshay, which we said, is also kamle b'derabine. Elamai, it must be, the Gemara's being mechiach, it must be that it's nitin lahatzal be'echad me'evar. So the way to save him, so there's no chiyuv of kamle, there would be no tour of kamle derabine from being a roidif, because he's not a roidif, because you could save, like Rabbi Yonasan ben Shaul says, by lahatzal be'echad me'evar. But if he does end up killing the other person, he's trying to kill him, then, and he's matzliach, then he's going to be a full-fledged mechayev misa, because he was trying to kill him. I'm sorry. Maybe one if you disagree with Rabbi Yonasan ben Shaul and you don't have that option of explaining the Gemara, how could you punish him? How could he get punished? How could he have to pay for the vlad? He's always a roidif, which is nitn letel benafshe, and therefore come with the mashani hacha. Maybe one might say that it's different because it's talking about two separate people. Maybe the kamle b'derabimine is only when it both applies to the same person. But over here, the misa, he's trying to hit, the misa is for trying to hit that other man. Or trying to hit, yeah. But he has to pay because what he damaged to the isha. So Gemara, what's the aleph again? No, okay, it's not a change. No, that's not a valid reason to say that there's no kimle. Someone was chasing after his friend, and he broke a kli. Bein shel nirdaf, bein shel kol adam. Potter. If he breaks a kli as he's going along, if it means. We're talking over here, is there if and the person who's trying to kill him broke something as he was going after him, so he's always going to be potter. It doesn't make a difference if he damaged someone else because he's still a kamle b'derabimine. He's someone who is nitin hatzila benafshe. His life is forfeit. So therefore, any damage he done is potter, like we said in the Mishnah, right? Shibur sakelim. My time, Rav only, the only question was if he's also potter for stealing something and holding on to it. So come on, my time, mischai benafshehu. So therefore he's potter. V'nerdif shashir v'sakelim shall roidif potter shall call them chayiv. But if the person who's being chased, he saved himself by he knocked over, like a classic chase scene. He knocks over he's running in the market, he knocks over things, he stall to block the guy from chasing after him. So if it belonged to the person who's chasing after him, he's potter because he has, this guy is mechuyev to pay him anyway. He's the one who caused the whole situation. But if it's anyone else, then he has to pay because he's basically essentially a nitten lehatzel. But he has the other person he has to allow him to save his life, but there's no reason why he shouldn't have to pay back for the damage he did. Why is the other person mechuyev to take the financial hit for this guy saving his life? Who v'nirduf my timer is chai benafshehu. I'm sorry, did I skip?
Yes, shall roidif potter.
Potter shall call them chayiv. Shall roidif potter shall yeh memayne chaviv Allah migufay. The roidif, if he's saving himself by taking away, by causing a financial damage to the roidif, he's allowed to kill the roidif. So if he's saving himself with his money, he certainly the roidif can't have any complaints. He basically saved his life by you spending his money. He's saving with someone else's money, so the other person, listen, he can do it, but then he has to pay. What about a case where Reuven is chasing after Shimon, and then Levi goes and saves Shimon from Reuven by breaking Caleb? The Shiva Sekem. So it's not the victim who caused damage, but it was someone else who knocked over something in front of the guy, the roidif. Bein shel roidif, bein shel nirdif, bein shel kol adam potter. In any case, he's going to be potter. He's being. Why is the person who he caused damage? It was a fourth party that he caused damage to. This guy had nothing to do with it. Why is this guy who's getting involved and saving Shimon from Reuven, Levi? Why is he potter for the damage he did to Yehuda? What does he have? He has no standing to connect Yehuda to say you should pay for it. But it's not. So the Gemara says it's not Meikar Adin, but it's Takanos Lechom. No one's going to get involved. They'll say I'm going to have to pay. I'm going to get in a car chase and I'm going to block him off, and then I'm going to have to take the heat for any damage I did. So therefore, the Torah was the Chachamim will make on it. So Dr. Gemara Vaita. We said someone's roidef acha behema to be bought him. He's going to be potter. Tanya, this is what we're finally getting back to what we had promised before. We're going to say Rishon ben Yochai says you could even be matzal from being over. Mikal v'chayim. Umap kam hedin nitten lahatzal hatzila benafshe. Kam gavoya lekol shekain. If an isha who's being pogum, she's being degraded by his actions, you're allowed to kill him to stop her from being pogum. Certainly, the Rebbeinu Shalom pagam is no less. How could you be? This is like we said before. The general rule is we don't learn einshin from a kal v'chaimer. Kasava einshin min adin. The Gemara says Rishon Yochai Taka is the man damar who holds. He's the das yachid who holds that you are ma'anish min adin. Tanya, Elazar Reb Shimon Omer, Hamachalas Shabbos Nitin Latil Benafshe. Elazar Reb Shimon, like we brought before, he says even Machal Shabbos, you could stop him from being Machal Shabbos. Saval Kavua the Amar Einshem Min Adin. He holds like Reb Shimon Yochai that you say Einish Min Adin. Asher Shabbos Michil Asher Shabbos Michil Chil Me'avad Zeichavim. He learns it from a Gzeir Shabbos from Avad Zeichavim. Amar Rabbi Yechon Mishum Shimon Yaitzadik. Nimnu v'gamru. So now we're finally moving up to the din that we're all familiar with the harag val yaver, where the person himself is being forced to do one of these averis. Under what circumstances is he responsible to give up his life? So they learn nimnu v'gamru aliyas based nitzeh belud, in the aliyah based nitzeh in lud. Kol aver shebatoyra im oimrim la adam avar val tarag. If you tell anyone to be over, if he's being forced to be over on that, and if not, you're going to get killed. Yaver val yaharag, he should be over and not be killed. except for avodas kechavim and anything related to Gilei Arayis and Shvichas Dam. And like I was going to see, the categories are not as closed as they seem. There's going to be a major exception for Hesya, and there's going to be exceptions of B'Shas Hashmad that really broaden these rules. And like I told you before, it's an amazing thing to me that this Yarden Bibas was really literally put into this situation. And he, like, how many people have been given this choice in the last 100 years? Not 100 years, 85 years. Very rare. But he said, I was born a Jew, I'm going to die a Jew. Is it true that if a person's put in this situation where it says either be over, I'm going to kill you, you're not supposed to be over? Tanya, how do you know that he shouldn't allow himself to be killed? The Torah says that you should the mitzvahs are not intended for you to die for them. Because nefashos trumps any of the mitzvahs. Yachal afilu b'farhesya tamaloi b'lechal Hashem kachi igdashti. Where do I know that that's maybe even b'farhesya the din is that you could be over avodas gechavim tamaloi b'sechal you shouldn't be mechal Hashem. But vice versa, then in private a person can be over avodas gechavim rather than allow himself to be killed. So come on, inu da'amar kereb Elazar Tanya Elazar Omer the Hashem lekecha b'chol levavcha b'chol nafsha b'chol meidecha. Im Nema, we hold like Rabbi Elazar, not like Rabbi Yishmael. That he darshans, the Torah says you should love Hashem b'chol levavcha b'chol nafsha b'chol meidecha. And never b'chol nafshecha lama never b'chol meidecha and never b'chol meidecha lama never b'chol nafshecha. What is it? If it says with all your money, what does it have to say with your life? And if it says with your life, what does it have to say with your money? Im yeshcha adam shegufay chav lav mimayne lekach never b'chol nafshecha. Yeshcha adam shemayne chav lav gufay lekach never b'chol meidecha. So we learn now from this pasuk that no, avodas kechavim, even b'tzina, you have to give up your life. Gilei Arayis v'yichadamim k'derabbi. Where do we know Gilei Arayis and shvichas damim that you have to allow yourself to be killed? The Tanya, Rabbi Omer, kasher yokem mishol yev rotzchei nefesh kein hadavar hazeh. Just like someone who kills someone. This is talking about the Naira Hameira, so that we say that she's not going to be responsible if he's ma'anis her, because it's like someone who was killed. The person who's killed has no choice. He also has no choice. What is it teaching us? It already said L'Naira Loisasa Dava. What is it saying? This whole explanation. So what are you learning from Ritzeach? So it turns out that we learn out both ways. We learn Naira Merasa from Ritzech. We also learn Ritzech from Naira Rasa. Max Ritzech Naira Rasa. Ma Naira Rasa Nitin Latzila Benafshe. Af Ritzech Nitin Latzila Benafshe. Like we said in the last Amud, that there's a chiyuv that if someone's going to be born a Naira Merasa, you're allowed to kill him. U'makish Naira Merasa lo Ritzech. Ma Ritzech Yarag Val Yaver. Af Naira Merasa to Harag Val Taver. Just like a Ritzech has a din of Yaharag Val Yaver that you have to allow yourself to be killed. We haven't seen that source yet. But the Gemara is going to address it soon. So too a Naira Merasa. So Gemara Ritzech Gufa Minalan. Where do you know Ritzech? They can learn out Naira Merasa from it. Svaru. The Hudasal Kamei de Rabba. Someone came to Rabba for Amala. Like Amali Mari Duroi. The master told me, the guy in charge of things over here, who has the power of life and death, Zil Kali Laplanya. Go kill this other guy. If you like Katinalach. If not, I'm going to kill you. Amalei. You should allow yourself to be killed, and you shouldn't kill the other yid. How do you know your blood is any rather than his? You can't go and take an action to go kill a second person. So therefore, you have to leave it, and you can't kill him. That which we say that a person should be over on any Aveira rather than be killed if he's put into that position, that's only if we're not at a time of Xeris where people are where they're trying to convert the Jews, like they did like this time of the Spanish Inquisition. They're saying, you have to go along. But it's such a time. You You have to allow yourself to be killed for any avera. You also Rabban or Yechon, I feel shalei b'shak zer malchus like amru el b'tzina. That which we say that you could be over an avera is only b'tzina. Aval b'farhesia I feel mitzvah kali harg val yaver. If someone's forcing you to be over any mitzvah, if it's not a shas shmad, but you have to be over. If you have to allow yourself to be killed, rather be over b'farhesia. My mitzvah kalam Rabbi Yitzchak Amarav afilu l'shnuya arkus of the misana, even to change the shoelaces. Okay, we'll stop over here, and tomorrow we'll get to the very famous, very difficult sugya of Esther Karka Olam. Perfect timing, Purim. Why was Esther allowed to live with Achashverosh? The Chayrish is being over b'farhesia.